Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for the beginning of a new trilogy of reviews that I'm probably going to wrap up all today within the next hour or so. This is a review series beginning here for A Quiet Place. And of course, I'm talking about the first film. I've never seen part two until now, and I never saw the third film until this week as well. I took my mom to see it for her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, I love you. And that one was a prequel, and it was also the third film in the series. So now we have a trilogy of these movies. Not complete. I feel like it should be a quadrilogy. I feel like Day One should have been a different movie, but you know, it is what it is. I'll get to that when I talk about that movie. But for right now, we're talking about the 2018 original Quiet Place film. Now, the film was directed by John Krasinski, who is Jim from The Office. I've been a fan of him for ages, dude, for like 10 years now. I love John Krasinski. What a talented guy. He can do comedy, he can do drama, he can do thriller and horror like this. And he co-wrote this with the two guys who wrote Stephen King's Boogeyman adaptation, which I reviewed, and I loved that quite a bit. I was very surprised by how good that was. But before that, they co-wrote a film called Haunt, which is one of the best horror films for the Halloween season, in my personal opinion. Love their work. I forgot their names. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. But they also wrote that terrible Adam Driver 65 dinosaur movie. Good God. Anyway, Quiet Place. Let's talk about this. It's a post-apocalyptic film that basically focuses upon a family who are stuck in a world where there are not many people left. This is a very unique post-apocalyptic film, creature feature, horror movie, whatever you want to call this apocalyptic nightmare of a film, because basically these creatures that in this first film, we don't know where they came from, they showed up at some point in the past and killed everyone. And what we begin to find out is that our main characters are not allowed to speak. They have a daughter who's deaf, who's the oldest kid they have out of their 3 children. There's a lot going on there. John Krasinski also stars in the film as the dad of the family. Emily Blunt is the mom. And they're great. Everybody in here, cast-wise, are fantastic. The kids are good, especially the oldest daughter, who's supposed to be deaf. She's really good. But Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are amazing here. They have so much they have to do. This is a very character-centric film, and a lot of character drama amongst these characters too, even though they're a loving family. There are things that happened to them in the past and now that are so sad, and we're only like a year into the apocalypse, which is crazy, man, when you think about the events going on here. Anyway, the creatures that have shown up from somewhere have armor all over their skin, they don't have eyes, they can't see anything, but they react to sound. And the only way that they're allowed to talk, the human beings, I mean, not the monsters, the only way you're allowed to talk or anything is if there's another noise louder than your speech, in decibels or whatever. Like, think of a river. If you go over to a river and there's a lot of flowing down the river of the water, you can speak fairly quietly. You know, if you have a waterfall, you can yell and scream and whatever, as long as you're right there at the waterfall. But these things are fast, they're humongous, they kind of look like those spider cricket things, if you guys have ever dealt with those in your house, because in Virginia, they're a big thing the last like 4 or 5 years. I hate those damn things. But these things are horrific, and the CGI for them is fantastic. They're barely ever done in practical effects, but this is one of those few exceptions of movies that, being a small-scale film, being a small-budgeted film at the time, compared to all the things coming out, like Marvel movies and DC movies and all this comic book shit, this had a goal to make a tense, suspenseful horror movie focused around sound, and they did an amazing job with that. Everybody involved, the cast, the writers, the directing from Krasinski, everybody knocked it out of the park. The use of sound for this film is one of those things, a revelation, that somebody like James Wan would be one of the only people that could figure this out alongside Leigh Whannell. It was such a unique premise for an apocalypse, because in other places like Swan Song, Stephen King's The Stand, whatever, the apocalypse would be more about survival, as in having food, trying not to get in a fallout situation, getting stuck in a radioactive areas or anything like that, not drinking radioactive water. That would be the extent of those films. This is a situation where people died off so quickly by these monsters that you'll have food all over the place. You just have to be careful about how you do it. You can't walk through the woods. You can't walk on top of dead leaves and stuff. You have to be super careful about how to live here, but all of the other elements that you love, like water and whatnot, are there. They're protected. You can live off of those things very easily. It's about being quiet to do those things. You can't speak, so everybody in the film can't really communicate with their voice. They have to use their faces, but they also have to speak their lines with sign language that I assume the whole family had to learn because of the deaf daughter. And I really love that. I love so much about the film. I saw it one time before this recent rewatch this last week. Happy 4th of July, by the way. It was a great week, by the way. I had to watch this again. I wanted to make sure I saw it before I did the review, and obviously. But this film was even better than I remember it being, because of all the little fine details in here. As simplistic as a movie that it is, there's a lot of focus on details that really make this so special. So much more heartfelt, things I did not remember seeing in 2018 when I saw the film back in the day. This is a good flick, dude, and I can't believe how well it holds up. It's incredibly well made. There's not really any kind of music or soundtrack to the movie because they can't really have that without ruining the tone of what A Quiet Place is. This gets it perfect. I love this movie. If you have not seen Quiet Place, you are absolutely missing out. What a great film. I got this for like $5, by the way, at Walmart. So like, this is not a sponsored thing, but dude, go to Walmart and pick this up from the $5 bin. That's a great deal for two really good movies. And go see the third one. It's got its moments, we'll say. Anyway, Quiet Place. Very smart characters, great cast, great behind the scenes work from everybody. What a great film, dude. What a great movie. I recommend it so much, man. Anyway, have you seen Quiet Place? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts about this film, its sequels, down in the comment section down below. If I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I would easily give this a 5 out of 5 stars. What a great modern classic of horror. And to think that part 2 really didn't seem to have anybody excited to go see it. I think a lot of people like me were worried that they would ruin it. I'll talk about that more in the review, but I can't believe this became a franchise. That first film was such a great one-off movie, and then to see what it's kind of done from part 2 onward, out of 2 more sequels, not like that's a whole lot of treading of ground, but still, from what we got to see, it's kind of neat. I kind of like that about it. So, anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. 5 out of 5 stars. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.